Friends at home, welcome back. You got one episode at the beginning of August, and now you're going to get one episode at the end. Welcome to Shipbreakers, Stars Without Numbers Revised, the 24th episode. We've had haircuts, I guess. We're like a boy band, but like more like NSYNC in terms of age rather than what's a modern day boy band. My next go-to would have been Hanson, but they're also in their 30s now, so...
Yeah.
I don't know modern-day boy band. I'm sorry.
I don't know. We keep advancing in time. What comes after that? Is there like... oh, shoot. What's the one Harry Styles was in?
Maroon 5?
No, that's definitely not it.
I don't know.
I know that.
Are they a boy band?
No, he's like big. He releases pop music now. He's actually current. I just know he was in a boy band after the ones that you listed.
That's
the one. That's the one.
That sounds right.
Are they the one who did the treadmill thing? Like they walked on treadmills going in opposite directions?
That's OK Go.
Okay. That's okay. I don't know anything. All right. We need to make a sharp curve away from
derailed
the youth pop culture, which I know nothing about, despite attempting to pretend that I do, and make that solid curve back into made up bullshit, which is I know everything about because I know all the things you guys don't know about this made up bullshit. Lots of stuff happened last time, and I gotta be honest, guys. I don't know if it needs a content warning, but if you have problems with your dad, this episode may not be for you. Because we're gonna full on get some fucking daddy issues out here in the open. And I do not think that we're gonna resolve them all in one episode. We're probably strapping in here for a little while. Let's talk about goals. You guys prepped them all right. You know exactly, you did your homework, you know where you're going.
Yeah, we class got canceled last time, so I did my homework already.
I did not procrastinate until right now.
Great. What's your crew goal?
Oh, we always start with the one we never talk about. Yeah, come on.
Your last crew goal was make a determination on Midapile, which you failed to do.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, I think our current crew goal would be to get to Midapile at this point. It seems like that's where we're going.
I gotta be honest, that does not feel like it's worth an experience point.
Fair enough. Yeah,
you're literally 1 inch away from making that.
Completely fair. We have to pick a goal in Midapile then, assumedly.
I had 2 goals pinned, one of which I feel like I have to go with now with the daddy issue thing.
Yeah.
And it's bring outside of Sophie, Van-Vee's family up to speed and ensure their safety. Or do what I can to make sure they're safe, I guess.
I mean, what about a crew goal of trying to get a conversation to happen between Van-Vee and his father? We don't know how accessible he is in custody. We figure he could probably talk to his family, but trying to get to somebody in custody right now, that could be dangerous or maybe not even do.
I would also mention you had a sub goal of contacting Carlito Sinistra.
That was the other one I had. Strike a deal with Carlito to take down Mark Marino and produce MES medication.
Get access to Big Papa is a very solid crew goal or a very solid character goal. If you wanted to really metagame, you could do both. You guys could also make it a point to get Van-Vee to see his dad. Get yourself double XP for just trying.
Is there a disguise skill? No. Okay.
Almost certainly there is something about subterfuge and deception. So before you smirk about it, the answer is going to be yes. I'll just figure out something for you to roll.
I'll just have to fix it up and I'll be good.
No.
You're right.
You want to run through
pilot
yourself? Yeah, I knew it. I knew the pilot was going to come in here.
This disguise.
All right. Maybe I can punch and shoot it.
Oh my god.
Everything. That's all I'm good at. I'll have mine be have a face-to-face conversation with Papa.
Okay, you're
face to
changing
face, because it
from-
means I have to actually see him and get to him. Yeah.
You're changing it from Sophie to, or bring the family up to speed to have a face to face.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think that's like one step further, so it's that much more difficult.
Just reminds me of the song from Lion King where they're singing with the Zazu bird, and he's like, "We've got to have a heart to heart."
Oh, that is a good one.
Kings don't take advice from little hornbills from the start.
Fair.
That is a good song.
God, Lion King has so many good songs, and I mean the original Lion King, not any live action or remake or anything
Scar's
like
is the
that.
best.
Look, he's so good though. He's incredible.
They don't make bad guys like they used to.
Fair.
I don't know, man.
They find new ones.
You say that, but then you've got like Stranger Things where they do make bad guys that are actually, better than they used to.
My problem isn't with new bad guys. It's with new good guys.
Ooh, wow. Okay, that's real spicy. I feel like somehow we could definitely link that to Disney, but let's not.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to link it to this show.
Wow. Hey, we've been avoiding talking about goals, but we still don't have a crew goal, a MINERVA goal, or a Quentin goal, and we can't get started until that happens.
Quentin's goal is pretty straightforward. He is going to try to, before we leave for Midipile, get a meeting with Jace Bronwyn if he can.
Jace Bronwyn.
All right, we're definitely not making it to Midipile then.
No, this should be quick. I hope.
Wow, I love that you go, it should be quick. Wow.
What is?
I was thinking a short-term goal of finding out what the office of the Prime Minister wants to talk to me about.
Ooh.
I did get recalled to the planet.
Does finding out preclude not talking to that office? Like, are you finding out in the context of, I don't want to have a conversation with him until I know what it's going to be about? Or is this goal really just, I want to call the Prime Minister when I get there and learn what's up?
I think I want to make an effort to try to figure out what, because my and Minerva's impressions are that they're upset with something that I'm involved in. So I want to see what I can find out before speaking to somebody in his office.
All right. See, because I'm starting to raise the bar.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are like level 7 or something now. The idea, like early on, I was real loose with XP, but now I don't know that half a phone call is worthy of your, even if it's in another solar system. But find out about the conversation before you have it is certainly a great goal. Espionaging yourself. Although I could screw you and just have them detect you being in system and call you immediately, and you'll be like, hold on, I have to hang up real quick. I'll get back to you once I've infiltrated your computer network.
You just use a different voice. Hello, this is the secretary for the Golden Goose. Would you like to leave a message from one of the crew?
What is the crew goal?
I like the crew goal as trying to
Carlito.
get Carlito as an ally of some kind.
So interesting. So interesting.
These are
what a
four
good goal.
totally unrelated things.
AP is smiling.
Yeah.
Who's not going to get stuff done this session?
Listen,
We're going to show up and Carlito's dead.
my recollection is that you are on planet Sophie Vostro's pod, which needs to be re-released in orbit before leaving, is secured in the cargo hold. She, however, has moved to your 6th room as a guest temporarily. Everyone is on board. Everything is stowed away. You are ready to leave at any time, and you are outside of the Enki Technocracy's city. These are TL3 if you're really generous people. Of a completely different cultural background than the other part of the planet where Jace Bronwyn lives. You're in control of your own fates at this point. I feel like I don't need to do an opening scene. You guys need to figure out what you're doing.
Okay.
Sounds like the
so
captain
just launch
has
into
plans
it.
to stop us from leaving immediately.
All right, tomato
I
pile.
Yeah. Essentially, while Sophie and Van-Vee are having their conversation, essentially Sophie has left Quentin in her pod there.
Yes.
This is where Quentin picks up, and it takes a moment, kind of collects his thoughts a little bit, and makes a couple decisions in his head, and teleports over to his room from there, where he leaves the little, what is it? What did we decide? This was the nib of the pen.
It's the
from
clicky
Johnson?
part at the top.
Oh, it's the clicky part. Clicky part. Okay, that's right. Yeah, the clicky part at the top. So you
Hold
leave
on.
that.
I have a very important question.
Yes.
Did you leave Frontier Pioneer Woman still playing on the TV, or did you pause it?
I don't think he would have thought to pause it. So
Okay, all right.
Bamfed out.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out how that comes back. So he tucks the clicky part into his desk in his room, and then from there teleports to the in front of Jace Bronwyn's compound, as long as it's within 1,000 kilometers, if roughly speaking.
That's on the other side of the planet, but I feel like you can make a couple jumps to get over there pretty quickly.
Sounds good.
You wind out outside of the compound.
And he doesn't know, it looks for a buzzer if there's something that he can,
There's nothing like that, but after about 30 seconds, one of the clanker robots makes their way over to you and takes their top hat and goes, "Hello, sir. Captain Quentin, how are you doing?"
Great. Suppose you got a number, but not important right now. Why don't you pass along to the Supreme Master there that I would like to have a conversation if he is amenable and has the time. And I do have an offer for him in exchange.
Okay. The clanker continues to walk past you, doing whatever it was doing before it met you.
Oh, great. So it's just ignoring me.
It's not, I mean, just to be clear, it's not ignoring
No, I know
you.
It doesn't. Yeah, okay.
It is
may be doing
communicating
something.
wirelessly.
Cool.
It's just that, like you've informed it. I just want to have a very comical scene where it walks up to you, just continues walking. You have no idea what's happening.
Yeah, Quentin's like, twiddle his thumbs. He pulls out his. Oh, does he have his phone with him on this one? Probably, yeah. He would bring it. I don't think he would have thought to leave it. So he pulls that out. Maybe he's like checking the net and messages, thinking about seeing if he can send a message to an address or something. And then he remembers there was the guy who is like Jace Bronwyn's sort of attaché or whatever. Yeah, Benvolio, and thinks, does he have? Starts scrolling through to see if he has his contact info.
I would like you to make a notice wisdom.
Notice wisdom. You got it. Oh my gosh. Unprepared with a sheet. Skills. Notice. Oh, did I add wisdom to it? Yeah, okay, I did.
Yeah.
A 4, huh? Okay. You begin scrolling to see if you have Benvolio's information. You don't. And you look up, you see Benvolio is approaching from the front of the house in sort of monkish robes. Goes to the front gate and pushes them open and says, "Captain, it's good to see you again. The Supreme Master has cleared his schedule for a short visit with you."
Oh, well, that's somewhat surprising, but much appreciated. I suppose lead the way.
Can I ask before we go what the manner of this meeting will be about?
Manner of this meeting. I intend to have a relatively friendly chat and ask some advice and offer the Supreme Master a unique experience that he likely has not had the opportunity to partake in.
I'm afraid I will need to ask for more clarifying details than vague platitudes.
Fake platitudes. All right. Fair enough. I kind of figure that, that's one thing he might be lacking is in his unique experiences. In this case, I am offering to introduce him to an entity outside of his or your, perhaps, experience.
I, as a player, am really concerned.
I thought you were going to say I met an old friend who wants to say hi. I'm relaying the message, but you just went right into the.
For sure.
So Benvolio says, I will pass that along. Think,
I'll
however,
ask.
you have severely underestimated what the Master's capacity for outside influences. Follow me. As you're climbing the steps, and it's that point where you got a little marble steps going up. He springs the question on, and he says, "You and your companion have not spoken to anyone about what happened in the meeting at any point to anyone."
At any point to anyone. Oh boy, I'll be honest, I don't think so. I don't think I've revealed specific details, but I don't memorize every conversation.
Okay, make a notice wisdom check.
The
You can see that he is pulling a weapon out from his robes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's in front of you. He's just casually reaching down into his robes. He's making a slow half turn towards you. And he says, "You're not sure whether you have had a conversation with anyone about what happened in there." I see.
No, what I mean to say is that I have not specifically attempted to relate any details, but again, I'm not a perfect person, machine, so I don't remember everything that I've ever said. I'm pretty sure that I have never said, by your rules, things that are of that nature. But again, person.
Okay. I haven't shown the rules yet, but I'm gonna roll to see if Benvolio likes what he's getting out of you.
Yeah, I honestly, this is just purely, I don't remember if I actually have, in character or out of character, had that conversation. So I'm kind of trying to,
You want this number to be a 7 or higher.
All right.
Okay. He turns back and slowly lowers the weapon discreetly back into his robes, and he says, "Very well. That's all I asked."
I'm trying to remember what the heck happened.
He warned you the last time you were here.
Oh, he
that
did.
if you
Yeah.
spoke to anyone, he would kill you.
Yep. For sure. For sure.
And he said,
Course.
"Hey, did you speak to anyone?" You go, "Maybe. I don't really know." And he goes, "Oh, okay. It's time to kill you."
No, I think that's fair. That's fair. I did respond that way because you responded with I think you underestimate how much he knows about us. I'm like, is there a conversation that I had that I'm forgetting about? Oh, shit.
Or better, have we been near someone who could just read our mind without actually us saying
that's
anything?
Fair. But no, fair enough. Quentin was hedgy there. It is worth him being nervous.
The inside looks much as you remember it, with portraits of people who have been here before. The royal princess, her father, successive generations of Jace Bronwyns are proudly displayed, all of them looking exactly the same. There are not the two robots this time that attempted to trick you into doing anything with them at all. Benvolio just gestures for you to stand still in the middle of this workshop den and continues walking deeper into it. It doesn't look like he's headed towards a door, but then the holographic walls just change and become a door. He walks through it and it goes back to being a sort of almost Victorian wall with a drab green wallpaper. Jace Bronwyn walks out of that same entrance a few moments later, looking almost exactly the same as you saw him last time. He has his hands clasped before him as he approaches you. He's got that sort of Renaissance Leonardo DiCaprio look. Not Leonardo DiCaprio. Leonardo da Vinci. He's got the huge ruffle white thing. He's got a big hat that does like the comb over. He's wearing tights and a skirt, but he's still making it look maybe not like masculine. He's just making it look artiste is the way I'd say, as he approaches you. Looks somewhat fresh. Neutrally, hands clasped before him, and he says, "It is good to see you again, Captain."
You as well, sir. been a little while. Quite a bit has happened since then.
Has it? It's been a very brief moment of time.
Very much so. From what I understand about your life, I could see that perspective. Met someone maybe from a similar time frame as you recently. A man named Dr. Rowe. Name ring a bell?
I have known a man named Dr. Rowe. Yes.
Yeah. Well, free information. He's still kicking.
That is a issue.
You enemy of his or he of yours?
I don't have enemies. Dr. Rowe Piscadarian was or is a Maltech terrorist who had several unique demands of humanity here in Cress Wayside. He was not apprehended in a satisfactory manner before the scream.
Yeah, it seems like he managed to stick out the intervening years here. I had an encounter with him. He was at least mildly useful for me, but that is very much the vibe I got from him that you described.
Is that what you're looking for out of interactions with people? How useful they can be to you?
Ideally, no. Ideally, I get, sure, yeah, people should be useful, right? I think that's, a basic thing about life. You gotta have some use in it, or at least in
Disagree
theory.
wholeheartedly.
I don't know, man. That's fair. I don't know what's up or down at this point. I think you're well aware of what's happened to Lita. My brain's turned inside out and mushy as hell. Well, I know Dr. Rowe scared the crap out of me. I agree with that. I think he's a scary individual, and he basically told me that he's got a dead man switch. Should he happen to pass away, he's got some plan that will destabilize the whole sector and cause havoc and chaos. And the only thing I could think to do is pass that along to Johnson.
Agent Johnson.
Agent Johnson.
Well, if you are going to deal with Dr. Piscadarian, I suppose that the tax money that is wasted on an agency like the Perimeter should deal with the problem that they were nominally formed to stop.
It was kind of my understanding and thought as well. That's part of the reason I honestly wanted to have a chat with you. I was really looking for some confirmation and bit of advice that maybe that wasn't the worst thing to do is to talk to him. I'll be honest, I was operating on damn near no sleep and looking at the graves of everyone I ever knew. So I don't know that I was making the best decisions. Is he someone that, obviously I should be careful around him, but is trust a word you'd even throw around?
Captain, I have not made my position clear enough to you, which is fine. You don't live here, and you aren't aware of how I operate.
No, sir.
This is a garden, this planet. It is a place of peace and rest. What happens beyond its atmosphere is none of my concern. I have lived for a comparatively short time, but I suppose you would think that it is quite long. I would say that humans spend too much time trying to find purpose and not enough time living life. The people on this planet are taken care of and provided for with the resources I have available to me to the best of my ability.
I commend you for it.
What happens beyond this atmosphere is none of my concern, because I cannot reach beyond where my hands will go. I find that knowledge of events off of my world clutters the mind, confuses people, confuses me. There is a clarity of my own purpose remaining here and carrying out the work of living.
I have a hell of a lot of respect for that. Honestly, I do. I think what you've done here to create an oasis for as many folks as you can is nothing short of incredible. And I certainly am not going to be someone who's going to say you could do more. You've done enough, I'm sure. In this case, I can appreciate that you don't have any advice for me on that front. I did have a little bit of hope. You did. The device that I contacted him on came to me through contact with you, really. So I at least hoped you might be willing or able to provide a character reference, so to speak. But yeah, no, I understand. I certainly don't want to trouble you any more than that goes. As far as it goes, again, I appreciate what you're doing here. And
if your people require refuge from the universe at large, Astapel is open to them. I'm afraid they will need to learn to exist with a somewhat limited form of technology.
Folk generally started pretty used to that, but you know what? That's honestly fantastic. I appreciate that. I will certainly put the word out there that, of course, Astapel is available for folks to get that rest if they need it. Well,
you
Jace,
have something to offer me.
I do. You ever heard of something called a shadow?
I'm not sure I'm doing it right, but he does a slight eyebrow raise, and he says, "You are not referring to light blocked out by the presence of an object."
Quentin actually laughs, like belly laugh there, because his brain's gone. And no, sir, no. Something that exists in metadimensional space. Some things. I think there's a lot of different types of them. But I've had conversations. I've felt presences faster than and more terrifying than anything that I thought could exist in any reality, much less this one.
You have firsthand knowledge of this, not just myths and legends.
Yes, sir.
That is interesting.
I can let you meet one, should you like. You can ask questions. Every question I've ever asked so far has given me a true answer.
What is the price of such an exchange?
Seems to depend on who shows up.
I mean with you.
Well, for me, the original price was advice on Johnson. That's still what I hope to do. What I can ask you specific questions on him if you like. I do have a couple.
You value your independence, Captain.
Very much so.
I'm making this inference because I put out a job offer for independent captains to bring me what I needed in order to get rid of a pest. And you are the one that answered that particular job billet. If you value your independence, you will stay as far away from Agent Johnson as possible. I have found that working with government agencies, and especially the Perimeter Agency, they will use anything and any means necessary to accomplish what they consider to be a holy task of bureaucracy. By any means necessary, the securement of the 3 commandments of the mandate. In space, junk sticks together. Small gravitational pulls cause things to continuously collide and become larger and larger. It is the formation of suns and planets from explosions of other matter from a time long before humanity walked these stars. Detritus dumped in the orbit of a planet will slowly form into a sphere as it gathers up. The perimeter agency is such a sphere, and if you sidle up next to it, you will simply become one more arm of this organization. If that is a acceptable life to you, fighting an endless war against Maltech, artificial intelligence, end of the world, apocalypse devices, and nightmare aliens, then by all means, my advice would be to join hands with Agent Johnson and his people. But from what little I know of you, and from what you have just said to me, you value your independence. Do not be a piece of space junk, or you will find that you are adrift no more.
It's a lot to chew on. I appreciate that.
Bureaucracy has a gravity of its own.
One more question, because there's been something that's been eating at me in regards to him. Is they obviously have access to things and information that I could never fathom to some degree, but still, even now after the scream, I don't know how. But do you think that Johnson could have actually been involved in the attack on Lita? He had suspiciously fast confirmation of some questions I had for him.
Were you using the pen?
Yes.
I believe that you may have determined at this point that it is capable of instantaneous transmission.
Of course.
Then why are you suspicious that he's capable of finding information instantaneously?
Yeah, that's kind of what I needed to hear.
There are many marvels that you are unaware of. I know things that you do not know, and use techniques you have never heard of. Agent Johnson is a child playing with the bones of a dead empire.
Yeah. Okay. That's part of what made me ask that question. There's this concern that, I don't know. Regardless, I appreciate the advice on Johnson. I think that at least settles some of my current thoughts. Well, I offered you a chance to meet something. Would you like to take it?
I will speak with a shadow.
And with that, Quentin kind of closes his eyes and places himself further from himself and closer to the stars. Reaches out.
The room is covered in a blackness that encompasses everything but the two of you. And quite simply, there doesn't seem to be any light, but you can still see Jace Bronwyn. He begins speaking in a language you don't recognize, and there is a voice that answers him. And he asks 5 questions before nodding to you, and the room returns to how it was before.
Man.
What have you done?
5 questions. I love it. I love it. Did you receive interesting answers?
I have never encountered an alien before. And truly, this is not simply a being beyond our planet, but beyond our understanding of dimensions. My questions were self-introductory in nature. asking it what it was, its answers in my mind were unexpected. This encounter will give me much to think about.
Well, that's how I feel every time as well. But I have a feeling you have a lot more knowledge to start with than I do, figuring out that particular puzzle. If you
will excuse me, I must go. I'm afraid that it asked for my kidneys and liver in exchange for the knowledge. I will need to fabricate new organs immediately.
Oh,
you could see that he's like actually shaking while standing there.
Oh, like it took them already.
I am going into septic shock. Yes.
Oh my God, sir. Yes. That
he
is
just
one of the most intense
room.
costs.
Yeah.
Gwen's like, oh shit. Like, he's writing that one down as a possible thing that could happen to it. Or at least that it could ask. And I suppose with that, Benvolio probably reappears.
I think as the holographic door shuts and the wall comes back down, you just hear an incredibly loud screaming of someone whose organs have disappeared, and they were being chill for a minute, but now that they're behind a more soundproof wall, they are in intense agony and pain.
Yeah, that's horrifying. And Quentin's probably looking around like, oh, no, this was not, well, kind of it was me. Should I just go? And if Benvolio is not like around to like lead him out, he will just pop out and leave.
I mean, you don't even need to walk out. You can just teleport.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's looking around like, this is, oh, God. Benvolio kind of is pissed at me already, I think. I should go.
You perform a series of chain teleports and make it back to the ship. You're gone for maybe 20 minutes and no one ever noticed.
Yep.
Minerva knows.
Yeah, Minerva knows for sure.
You kept your comm with you.
I did. I specifically said that for Minerva to be able to theoretically tag me and listen if she wants.
Minerva has not notified anybody about any of that.
I just want to imagine you
did Minerva
back...
listen?
And I've also sort of gotten used to his comm just suddenly moving great distances at this point.
That's fair.
I actually don't think you can track the comm after it goes beyond line of sight because there's no satellite network or anything like that.
That's what I was going to say, unless we're on a planet that has it. Yeah, this one.
You would just know
not
that it disappeared from the ship.
Are we so far away that curvature matters?
He went to the other side of the planet. Absolutely.
Okay.
He went 8,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
Me and my fan fiction as the game master and one who determines these things, would imagine that you've arrived at the end of the Frontier Pioneer Woman episode that you left.
There you go. Yeah.
You get the credits and you're like, I missed what happens in this episode.
Restart.
A mysterious stranger comes to town. Played by Clint Eastwood III.
Oh my gosh.
Looks just like the original.
He's a clone. Hey, what's next now that we're 40 minutes in? We got our quick chat with Jace Bronwyn done.
So quick.
I will have fixed that processing booster to the sledge.
Ah, interesting. Yes.
And I will have, now that I can connect to both the sledge and the box, I will move my phylactery to the box.
Okay.
And then I will fold it up and I'm going to stick it in a bulkhead somewhere.
So just to be clear, your phylactery hasn't finished forming it, so you're removing it from the ship? Okay, just making sure. Yep. So you're going to seal the box into the ship?
I'm putting the box in... I'm not going to put it in the smuggling compartment. I'm going to stick it in a wall somewhere where it can crawl its way out.
That's okay. That's what I was thinking, is that you were just sealing it in the ship. For the folks at home, when he's saying box, he doesn't mean like a cardboard box. It's the name of the suit chassis he bought last time. I just want to make sure people don't think that he's cleaning his desk out, security's escorting him away, and he's got a box of all of his things.
But my stapler!
I believe you have my factory.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm not going to tell anybody that I'm doing that, and I'll stay wirelessly connected to everything.
I think Van-Vee's probably wrapping up that lengthy conversation with his mom last time with I just don't understand why'd you have to talk to the captain first? I'm your son. All right. Well,
she
I guess let's go back and try to find it.
Really sadly, and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Oh, honey, you just as needy as your father." The captain and I had very important issues to discuss regarding his planet and his people.
I feel like he's reverting a little bit to a state of like making a stink just to make a stink because he can, because it's his mom. He's kind of like,
I mean, you haven't been a little noble shit since like episode 8 when you fucked up that moon.
It's been a while. It's been a
while.
Well, I guess me telling you that, makes sense. Well, I guess it makes sense I'm acting just like my dad, because I guess I am my dad, but I guess that's not important compared to business you have with the captain.
Okay. I need you to take a deep breath.
Roll
really
for slap
evaluate what you're saying right now. And then I need you to explain to me why there is a hyperboat next to my pod in the cargo container room.
I don't think I have to explain that.
I didn't get a very good look on it, but my understanding was that hyperboats had a pretty large crew and redundant safety features. That one looked like only one person could fit on it, and almost like all the safety features had been thrown out to have some weight savings.
Well, it must have
I don't have a strong understanding of mechanics, but and she's like clearing the tears from her eyes.
It must be the pilot is just that good.
And is the pilot in the room with us right now?
You're damn straight. Ma'am.
And is it insured?
I don't know if that's something Van-Vee would have done, to be honest.
She
Probably
just
not.
takes the look on your face and she just says, "Look, you and your brother and sister, I give you all a lot of independence, but I just ask that you stay safe. And I'm not sure that hyperboat racing in a lean, unstable, uninsured craft is the kind of way that I want to get a notification of how you died."
That ain't gonna be how I go, Ma. You know that.
Do I know that?
I know it ain't how I'm gonna go.
You have a very familiar level of overconfidence.
I'll look into insurance. As if like that's his take home message.
What about looking into safety? The insurance, I don't need the insurance payout from when you die using that machine. I just want to make sure you're coming home.
Before I stick foot in mouth, who remind me again? Who knows about MINERVA again?
Not her.
My family know, not her. Okay, glad I checked. I will.
Your brother thinks that MINERVA is hot. That's what you know.
Oh, he's gonna be.
See how he feels about the sledge.
Yeah.
How do you feel about gorillas?
Well, all right. We did skimp on some security features. Safety features. I guess I can look back at seeing if there's a couple I can add without, I guess, taking too much speed off. I mean, I want to win, Mom. I always win. I'm that good.
Wow. Okay, so just to be clear, we haven't filmed the hyperboat race episode, but KainDamael is really long-shotting that he won that based on his rolls. So let's see if that's how that actually works out.
What do you mean right now?
No.
Oh,
During that episode, I really hope you win.
and we have to use the stats I'd already locked, right? I can't boost it by getting more points
Correct.
now.
Yes, that's correct.
I like it. I like it.
Is there anything else you want to do with your mom here? Or we?
She didn't have any additional information about who was holding y'all, did she? She just knew he was being held.
She said a federal judge.
Did she give a name?
If you press her for the name, he says his name is Magister Sandeep Chopra. She actually pulls up a personnel file on him. He is played by actor Anil Kapoor. He looks like a sort of Indian, Pakistani man, wearing a British Magister's white wig, black robes. It's like his Supreme Court appointment picture. You know, it's like got the seal of the principality behind him, and you know, he's just like staring with the seal behind him. It looks very formal and officious. He gives off a sort of, I'm a friendly judge, but also like I'm in charge kind of vibe sort of deal.
I'm just one of the guys, but I'm the guy.
Yeah, I'm the guy.
I think with that information, Van-Vee would try to...
Now, I'd like you to make a quick check here. I'd like you to make a notice wisdom roll as you're looking at this guy's picture. That's a 14. So I'm not just going to tell you one thing. I'm going to tell you two things.
All the things.
I am going to tell you all the things. He is wearing a ring. It's a simple gold ring that the part facing outwardly is a 8-sided, whatever the hexagon would be. What's 8?
Octagon?
Octagon. It's an octagon. Oh my god, how did I miss octagon?
I thought it was a trick question at first.
No, it's not a trick question. It's a octagonal ring. And you have seen a ring like this before, somewhat recently. Brett Carthage also had a ring. That's the security officer that you met who scanned
the dude who
you for
I kept forgetting to
quarantine.
pass his name on.
And your dad has a ring like that as well that you saw while you had a discussion with him in the game room where the two of you were meeting privately. There was a ring like that in one of the cases with like trophies and such.
Hmm. Is there any way to try to, I don't know, research, like Google it? Maybe I'll ask Yona to do it.
Okay.
Like I feel like Van-Vee's pretty familiar with gaming, right? Because he's always betting on I want to call it blitzball, blast ball.
Blitzball is great though.
I know, that's why I was like, it's not blitzball, but I want to say blitzball.
The ring in the case wasn't placed below an image of a square and compass, was it?
No. It's just among some trophies. I'm sorry, Kain.
I'll get over it.
You may be on the right track. You text Siono while you're heading out the room with your mom, and you get a text back a few minutes later that like there's no university associated with it. It doesn't appear to have any connection to sports. She's not really finding, like, maybe you'd know more if you were in system, but with what the ship has available and what the system has available, which is almost nothing, there's no, like, knowledge about what the 8 side, I mean, it's an octagon, you know.
And we'll put a pin into search as soon as we get in system.
Okay.
Because I will almost certainly forget as a player. Was there a second thing? Magister Sandeep Chhabra was
Chopra.
Chopra.
No.
I thought you said there were two things.
Profile. Oh, the 2 things were that your dad also had the ring, and that you remembered that.
Okay.
I wasn't going to tell you that unless you got higher than a 10, but you got a 14, so I was like, all right, okay, you're going to get it.
I like it. Okay, cool. Trophies. Glad we had that conversation in that room. I think that's all Van-Vee would be doing now, is trying to research more in Chobra.
Okay. Well, Minerva, you haven't had your part of the episode yet. We've still got 9 minutes before the break. What would you like to accomplish on this planet, which is not going to the next planet that you said you were going to go to immediately? Hey, listen, I'm not trying to force you. I just think it's really funny that you guys are like, we're going to go to the next planet immediately. And I was like, yeah, I've seen this show before.
Well, the only thing that I was going to be doing on the way to Metapile was sorting out my bodies and my phylacteries. So
okay. All right.
I'm waiting to leave and wondering why we haven't left.
Assuming that you are moving at full speed, you will begin the jump on April the 23rd. After a brief stop off to leave the pod in space. So what that requires is that everyone exit the cargo bay. Everything in the cargo bay, of course, is tied down or magnetized in some way. It is then vented and then opened out to the non-atmosphere, I suppose. And either the salvage arm or little robot dudes will then push it out into a matching orbit with you, and then you'll leave and it'll stay out there. That process... Sorry?
Are we not taking her with us?
She's not inside.
She's not inside. She rented that pod. It has to stay here.
Okay,
it's
so
a hotel room.
We're taking
You're
her,
taking her, but not the pod.
Yeah,
correct.
Okay, then I'm tracking now.
Yes,
the rock lobsters inside the pod.
Yes, and it's
I
interesting.
thought that was a rich person like mobile home to stick in other people's ships. So you don't have to stay in the quarters.
No. That was her.
That would be funny.
You said to go to this planet, and she didn't feel like landing on it, so she waited in the atmosphere. In more relative comfort than she could have found down there.
Air 3.
I mean, so we can make the sledge look the part. We can have the sledge.
So hold on.
Shove it out.
Sure, you shove it out with the sledge. While that's happening, a very similar incident happens as every time you've done something in the atmosphere around this planet. Rather than near misses, you get a dozen collision courses at the point where you can't maneuver because you are pushing it out the side. Like if you maneuver, this thing is loose and things inside are going to go flying, you damage yourself, or you'll push the pod. It's like they waited until you were in the middle of cargo drop-off operations and you were the most vulnerable. You get about 30 solid seconds of them being several minutes out from collision before something happens and all of them break off.
Something happens?
Something happens. I will need a sensors check.
Okie doke.
With intelligence. All of them have dumped their garbage and biological waste while on a collision course with you, and then maneuvered away so that your ship is going to get painted in human shit.
Wow.
Is any of this stuff they dropped off going to cause any?
No,
any
it is
damage to the
all
hull?
it is all human waste. I mean, it'll
Can
cause
get burned
damage to the
off.
hull insofar as that beautiful white golden goose paint job is about to be a very different color.
Oh, well.
Petty.
Can we use
So I feel like
use the tractor beam to catch
You
a chunk of
can
it?
use the you can
and
use the tractor beam
throw
to
it
catch it.
back.
Let's tractor that back at him. Do it.
I want to start a food fight in outer space with shit.
I mean, just know that if you throw it back at them, if they maneuver at all, it'll miss, right? Like even
That's
just a
fine, yeah.
little bit. They
But
can
at least it
only
won't
do
be
this
on the
because
ship.
you
Just to prove the
can't
point.
maneuver.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to tractor beam as much of it as I can.
You can tractor beam all of it. It does not have enough mass to strain. This thing is capable of moving ships. Moving some shit
Yeah.
is no problem. You catch it,
And I would like
you
to arrange it in the shape of a big fuck you.
That's. I
Send it
don't
back.
think you have that level of capability.
he tractors it, and then we use the salvage arm in order to just sort of like shape
Shape.
the
Yeah,
giant
there you go.
space turn.
Will look just like the cover of Kid Rock's CD.
So just to be clear, your salvage arm now needs to be cleaned because it's covered in waste. All right, just as long as I understand that.
Acceptable.
You do fire a middle finger shaped blob of human waste, which immediately is dodged, but definitely sent a message.
Oh, beautiful.
On April the 23rd, you jump out of the system. If you don't want to make a roll, you don't have to.
I think it would have been much funnier actually if we didn't catch on to that. Like if your sensor roll is terrible, and then we'd go down next place and be like, "Why are we covered in shit?"
Oh, you would have known when it hits. It will make a noise when you get hit by a bunch of wet plops, for sure.
Too funny.
You need 12 days of transit time divided by 4 is 3 at your maximum speed. So
Yeah, buddy.
you will arrive in system on April the 26th. You come out of that weird space. There is a puff of helium around you surrounding the ship as you exit metadimensional drive space and re-enter a cosmopolitan system full of signals. Ships are moving all around you. You might actually be at the edge of a space battle, actually, as you see that there are some sort of projectiles flying around nowhere close to you, like 100,000 kilometers out, but there's definitely a small battle happening around the area that's, what's this place called? The escape perimeter? It's the part of the system where everybody arrives at in drill space. There's definitely some sort of, I mean, it's not like a huge skirmish, but there's some sort of action happening out here. You also get a bunch of messages, including one from Carlos Sinistra.
Are any of the ships currently fighting each other registering as government ships?
Yes, most of them are registered as small government fighters or gunships.
Registered to MINERVA?
BISC government, yes.
Are
Okay.
they fighting each other or?
They are not. They appear to, the other vessels are not, they have no registration at all. And are not broadcasting any sort of identify friendly or foe. They're not broadcasting it, but it's like their like system drives are hot. They're shooting weapons. They're impossible to avoid on sensors.
What the hell is happening in this sector?
Captain, permission to deep scan. Try to get some more information on these guys. I will start by deep scanning the guys that aren't broadcasting anything.
Okay. Go ahead and make that roll.
You wanted to do a scan, or are you asking me to do a
I
scan?
asked Minerva to do a deep scan.
Okay.
You said that you were doing the scan. And
Yeah,
then
that's why I didn't touch
you just
it.
kind of, you put your hands over the console and then wait for Minerva to do the work.
No, come on.
We're never gonna go ahead and scan out.
What do you want me to deep scan?
The
One of the
ships not
ships. Yeah.
broadcasting anything.
Okay.
The supposed anti-government ships.
Okay,
He's
13.
gotten so used to puppeting Minerva.
You identify one of these ships. You actually have it in your ship database. you've seen it within the last few months. You previously encountered it at Con 599 in the black hole system. It was previously docked to the space station there. It appears to be a pirate vessel.
That's what I thought.
You're not sure what captain it's registered to, but it does seem to be engaging in some sort of commerce raiding action here. As your sensor system begins to resolve more and more things, you can see that you haven't moved at all. People are fleeing in every direction away from this. The pirates appear to have surrounded a Vostro Industries bulk ore hauler, and they are boarding it. The other half of them are holding off the police, and they are in pirate frigates, but they're still frigates and corvettes versus fighters. They are absolutely destroying the security forces. That said, at least one torpedo cruiser is on its way over here, and a host of other much larger ships. You have no idea like what the time frame is for how long it might take to hijack the ship. You do know that what was it called? Jack cracking? Oh, jack offing, where they
That's right.
Manipulate the computer systems to vent the entire crew out and then steal the ship. There are definitely people who have been vented into space here and seem like they have died in the last few minutes. You appear to be watching a jack off.
Goodness.
Does it seem like the Vostro ship is maneuvering with the pirate vessels already? Or do I think it might still be in the process of being seized?
It is not under its own power. It is not. I mean, it has momentum to it, but it is not accelerating in any way. Its main drive is off.
Stick.
Yes. Yeah. And there are numerous like shuttles docked to it.
Can I, Captain, permission to call Sophie to the bridge? Help us maybe identify how important this ship may be to my family?
Yeah, get her up here for sure. Feel free. I don't know what we can do. If there's anything that looks plausible, certainly we'll help if we can. That's a hell of a lot of military firepower compared to anything that we can do.
I guess I'm more worried about the people who might be being ejected.
You guys all start
survivors.
Hearing, well, I suppose, MINERVA, you are getting a message from the torpedo cruiser asking you what your purpose is here and warning you away from getting involved in this conflict immediately. Like, identify yourself or be labeled a target.
So without consulting the captain, I'll just respond. We are the LAS Golden Goose. Just arrived in system, unaware of the situation, no interest in engagement. We are friendly.
Piloted right towards the ship.
A second ship, after about 10 seconds, opens communication with you. It is a government non-military registered Mercy class rescue corvette. You get a automated message from its VI asking if you have space to take passengers and life support on board to act as a rescue ship.
Respond. We're at max capacity, but short term, right? Like we could,
I mean, you're at max. Answering at max capacity is the correct answer there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it'll pop up for the captain if he says we're at max capacity. That is my response.
Okay. Yeah, like you're just sorting through elements right now. A Dauntless, 2 Mercies, and several Guardian class planetary defense frigates are barreling down, and in the next 10 minutes, this whole area, if it wasn't a shit show yet, it's about to be a shit show of pirates versus police. I think so they are warning you to exit the area immediately at all speed.
Captain, we are being advised by local forces to vacate the area immediately. You stated you wish to help the vessel.
If there was anybody that it looked like we could help, then certainly I'm down with that. But I don't think there is. Not certainly don't think we can do anything about the actual military conflict here. So let's get the hell out of here, in my opinion.
Do I have your permission to intervene?
Oh, now you're going to hack something.
You think you got a plan, Minerva?
Am I able to reach the communication system of the Vantis ship?
You want to jack off the jackoffers?
I want to seal all the bulkheads and deactivate all thrusters and engines so that they can't vent anything else.
Okay.
I want to reverse. I want to reverse that jack off. I want to jack on that ship.
Oh, Jesus.
There goes our entire female viewership. Thanks, everyone.
Going too far.
I spent way too much time making that joke the first time, and I'm really carrying it across the finish line here. Hey, we're going to find out what happens with the blue ballsing, is what I'm going to call this.
That's the ship's name, right?
Everyone inside is going to be frozen in terror because they can't get back off.
Yeah. Good.
I'm so glad someone on the last intro hour said that they listen to this out loud with their wife in the area.
Whoever you are, I
know who
wish
it
to
is.
sincerely say you're welcome.
It's someone I may or may not be playing in Blood Bowl very soon.
Wow. Perfect. Oh my God, this is KainDamael's first time catching the show.
It's even better.
We're not normally like this.
Welcome.
I took us to a really childish place. Hey, we're going to go on break. We'll be back in 5 minutes, so we're going to figure out what happens during this hacking.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, now it's hacking.
And now we have established that MINERVA has a blue balls protocol.
We're back. For the second half, apparently we've doubled our viewership by talking about jack-offing. So, MINERVA, I believe if you commit a processing point, you can just skip hacking at all and simply break into any non-AI hackable object.
I can.
If you want to roll, you can. If you want to just succeed, you can also do that.
I would like to try the roll, and if they have a unusually good encryption, try again with by spending the processing point.
Okay. A 12 is more than good enough to defeat them. You begin locking them down inside the ship that they're invading.
Yep, I'm gonna seal all the bulkheads, repressurize the ship, completely disable its motive functions. It's going to sit dead in the water.
How about lights and gravity?
Lights and gravity will stay on.
Well, they're currently off, so you're turning them back on?
I'll turn them on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turn gravity on and off repeatedly.
Yeah. I'm also not going to turn the gravity to 11.
No war crimes. Yeah.
I'm just saying, just like a couple seconds, so it's just a little float and slam. Did Sophie ever come up to the bridge?
I mean, this has happened so fast. She only just got there. You are getting a system-wide open broadcast from Rear Admiral Peter Burke, indicating that any pirate that is not shut down or any combatant to the conflict who has not disabled their systems by the time he's in weapons range will be considered a viable target for police action. Sophie has arrived and is looking at her ship, and she says, what's going on?
Pirates.
Best we can tell, police force and pirates are here duking it out, and looks like one of your ships is one of the targets, but it looks like it doesn't have too much power.
How are the crew?
Can I look at the internal sensors and sort of give him a little pop-up on his screen?
You don't need to. Your sensors indicate that the crew is floating beside the ship.
I was going to gesture to space.
Yeah, they're super duper dead.
I think we arrived just a little bit too late to, save some of the crew. I'm still running as many deep scans as possible on each and every pirate ship.
Would we have been included in the area that Rear Admiral was saying
I was wondering
everyone should shut down?
You guys don't. Your weapon systems aren't started up, and you're
okay.
You're not.
I'm just confirming that we are in the correct.
Yes.
We're
already complying without being asked.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, as far as you know, I've already talked to the torpedo frigate coming in.
Yeah, your IFF is also turned on, so they know exactly who you are.
Right. Okay.
I will also send a data transmission to the torpedo frigate.
Okay.
And it will include an access code and instructions to inform the torpedo frigate that access code will access systems on the Vostro ship. It is otherwise disabled. Ship computer is locked out.
Okay, you're about to get a lot more questions coming to you, but we'll
worry about
that later.
Gave away everything. Man.
So Quentin is on the captain's seat. Van-Vee is next to him at the officer, salvage operator pilot seat. Mm-hmm. Sophie takes the third seat that normally would be occupied by Minerva and is pulling up the name of the ship, the Pride of Chattanooga. She just puts her hand on the screen and says, Captain Adelbert. Okay. All right. So she pulls up a batch of messages she already was ready to send as soon as she got in, and starts adding another message to that, to Captain Adelbert's family, CC to the company, Vostro Industries.
While that's happening, can I look at some of the other messages you said we may have received?
Yeah.
When we joined.
I'd also send Van-Vee a message informing him.
That's why I was like, it looks like it has no power.
That he, as a member of the Vostro family, had the ability to remotely shut down the computer of a Vostro ship, and that he has set an unlock key to the torpedo frigate.
Sounds like a pretty good white lie.
You have a outstanding invitation to come party next time you're in system from Carlito Sinistra, addressed to the ship.
How long ago was that?
Was sent several months ago, late February. There are no further messages following that from him. You have a number of messages addressed to Cowboy Space Ranger Dog from children who want to know if Cowboy Space Ranger Dog is going to be able to make it to Christmas dinner this year.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Heartbreaking. Poor children.
Cowboy Space Ranger Dog is now an official member of the Vostro Pups family, if you'll recall. So now that merch goes from, it's being officially made by the company, like Beanie Babies. Kids are getting it, and they're like, but I want to know what's happening with my new favorite toy. Will Buzz Lightyear make it to Christmas?
Will he learn how to fly?
You have dozens of messages from Psychics on Planet addressed to Quentin. They're mostly just is my family alive? Sort of questions. There is news that the Throne Corporation has sold its rights to making the psionic medication to its parent corporation, Echelon. And Echelon is starting production locally in system on the moon you previously fucked around at and find out at, which, if you'll recall, is a giant geriatrics facility that also has medical capability. So they will be producing the medicine for all psychics in system locally through Echelon, a trusted family of companies.
Echelon. What was the original company again?
Throne.
That's right.
Minerva, you have a answer from the office of the Prime Minister. It includes a question, like it's basically a demand that as soon as you get in system, you land at the capital, a space will be made for you, and that you attend a meeting with the Prime Minister's office to explain your involvement in local politics. The other thing that happens is your message buffer is flooded with messages for the person running your faction, Dr. Fish. So while you guys got like less than a dozen, she's got hundreds of messages of like, hey, we got a donation today, or what should we do? The cops are busting down our door, or we need to get a permit. How do we, do that?
Important stuff.
Now that you've been in system for a few minutes, you receive another message from a nearby space station indicating that you are pre-cleared to land and that a docking bay has been set aside at Santiana Station for your earliest convenience.
That was where Carlito was as well.
That is indeed where you met Carlito the first time.
All right.
Can I real quick look up the octagon ring? If it shows up anything else.
It does. You find it on numerous conspiracy boards. I need you to make a work charisma roll. You almost certainly don't have this.
No, I am not.
Work is just a catch-all.
This is a straight roll. Oh, that's so on cue.
Double one.
So on cue.
Double ones.
Amazing.
That's Blood Bowl for you.
Now, would you say as a diplomat?
No, absolutely not in any way. Are you talking to people or are you Googling?
Should have had Yono do the Googling.
You find that this ring shows up on several people across the planet. There are dozens of theories as to what it means or does. Some people believe it's a secret organization. Other people believe that it is a arm of the government. Some people believe that it is a university, like Skull and Bones or whatever the shit from Yale is.
Probably get fed up with all the different hits.
You have no solid evidence of anything. It's just that like military officers, government officials, judges, rich industrialists have all been seen with this ring.
I think the only thing, I wouldn't do it right this second because it's too much chaos, but more of a don't forget later. I'd probably ask Sophie again, how is it Dad knew Brett Carthage?
He sponsored Officer Carthage into the academy. He sponsored several individuals throughout the years.
Just on a whim, I would look up the academy specifically, see if there's anything related to it.
The Royal Academy of Robinson? You've been there.
Yeah, looking for anything Octagon related to the academy. That's probably the extent of his searching before he goes back to focusing for tests at hand.
When you look at a picture of the academy from above, it forms a octagon.
Dun, dun, dun. I honestly didn't think you were going to give me that with double ones. I wouldn't have blamed you.
Just think of all the stuff you didn't get.
You specifically asked. You know what I mean? Like that's not a rollable thing. You were like, I'm going to look up a picture of what the academy looks like, and I'm like,
yes,
okay.
You asked the right question, but you still rolled shitty. Too bad.
That said, I want to be very clear as you continue to look stuff up. Like the main government parliament building on this planet is also octagonally shaped. The Royal
Now you're just finding
Palace?
octagons.
Octagonal.
Okay.
I'd like to send a message to the office of the Prime Minister,
Okay.
stating that we have arrived in system. We are currently complying with local security forces, after which we will make best speed to Metapile. I understand that this meeting is important. Unfortunately, our journey has been very dangerous, and I have received an embarrassing disfiguring injury. Is there any way that my transportation between the landing pad and the Prime Minister's office can be private?
Okay. So it does take several minutes for messages to and from the planet to arrive. So that's going to take a little while.
Right. And I'll let the captain know that I have essentially been priority summoned to speak with the Prime Minister. If we could, instead of going to the station first, if we could go to the capital, we have a pad already cleared for us.
Okay.
I mean, what they ask you to do and what you choose to do not have to be the same thing.
Right. You are the captain of the ship.
No, of
But
course.
Minerva's asking if we could comply.
Yeah, Quentin is amenable to that for sure. He is happy to target that as the first, stop in system. Depending on how chaotic things are around, he would bring up with Sophie at that point, like the draft letter he had shown her around his plans, for everything, some sort of tentative alliance with Metapile and the Royal Academy specifically, etc. She had offered ships and things like this. So he sort of gently prods her and sees if is this now the time to send this, and she also forwards that to Minerva.
She 100% evades you on that.
Yeah.
She gave you a very strong, direct, firm line of support, and she has completely withdrawn that. And does Minerva read her mail, outgoing mail?
I don't read it. I'm just checking for any code that's malicious. I'm not going to read it.
No, there's no attached computer code. It's just instructions.
Okay, no, I'm not reading it.
She has sent a large number of messages away from this ship. And I mean like hundreds of messages that were all pre-programmed, ready to go when you arrived in system. And she's now executing those sends. They're going to mining facilities, mining asteroids, orbital habitats, locations on planet, to the Vostra space station. All of them are executing sequentially in order and very quickly. As she explains to you that my circumstances have changed slightly. I will need to do a full accounting. Obviously, this situation out there with the piracy is affecting my business. Before I can commit anything to you, I need to do an inventory of what we actually have. I'm so sorry, Captain. I will attempt to provide you with whatever service I can as soon as I'm able, but circumstances have changed for my family slightly, somewhat.
I understand. Yep. Anything you can do, I will be happy for. Anything you can't, I take care of your own. And he starts typing to Minerva.
Do we get attacked a lot? Like, is this one first time you've seen this?
It's the first time we have been attacked in this system. It's not the first time people have been attacked here, and it's not the first time we've been attacked elsewhere. They've never hit something the size of a bulk cruiser before.
Well, just to, level with you, Mom. I've been running some scans on these here ships, and we've seen some of these before. They're from Quan 599,
the pirate space station. I'm not terribly surprised.
Me neither, but I got a sneaking suspicion, and he's just probably going to keep talking unless the captain doesn't shut up. I got a sneaking suspicion that this may have something to do with that Hold on. What's the cartel name? Hold on. Not Sinister
Trinity Corporate Alliance.
Yes, Trinity Corporate Alliance.
I mean, she nods. She says, yeah, there's a known TCA agent in system. One of their 3 bosses.
What's your relationship like with Carlito?
I'm going to tell you something. She looks at you, and you have determined that she's about to lie to you, and that everything she's about to say is a lie. In the way that if you looked at someone that you spent years with, you would just know they're lying. She says, I know Mr. Sinistra through his exploits and the news. I read the James Jives articles just like anyone else.
I see. Nothing personal then. All right. Good to know. Good to know. So I guess Captain, where to? He's like trying to change the subject quickly.
I think we got a date on planet, and Quentin is tapping away, and he is forwarding his draft messages over the things that he showed to Sophie, to Minerva specifically, and saying, this is stuff I'd like you to bring up if you get an opportunity with the Prime Minister, and yada yada. Start running it up so he's got parallel chains happening if he can, to start getting some sort of aid or support through Midapile.
If I can, I will.
That's all I ask.
You're going full speed to the planet, so 24 instead of 48 hours?
Yeah, I kind of.
Unless there's a reason not to.
Okay. You pass the police task force traveling the other direction. They get down to business very quickly and efficiently. The thing about pirate frigates is they're just a little bit too big to dodge torpedoes, and you watch as ships get cleanly cut in half by... It's not even an explosion, it's just impact force just shearing a ship in half. It would be almost a railgun round, except it's also a missile with guidance systems and rockets. So yeah, fighters arrive and just start cleaning up the pirates, and what could have been a highly successful haul is immediately blunted by the fact that the ship that they were stealing just won't move for some reason.
I'd also like to, during the 24 hours, look at the local news circuits and stuff, mm-hmm. and see what sort of conversation or debate or controversy there might be around the Order of the Golden Goose. Try to get an idea of what the political climate is about it.
So you took control of a very large political machine. It was basically we are wealthy and privileged, we live well here on Robinson, and we can do more for the rest of the galaxy sort of thing. People on planet that are business people use it as a tax write-off. People who want to feel better about themselves use it in order to do some community activism. It was a rudderless bureaucratic nightmare that was taken hold of by Aeneid Wazim and Dr. Leslie Fish. And essentially a bunch of different movements have all been formed into one cohesive message. That the message now is, we have neighbors and we could be doing better for them. We have ships, we have technology, we have resources, we have fusion. And we can save the galaxy if we just reach our hands out. That said, over the last few days, it has come into a slight change in focus that is now also including, it's a little divisive inside the organization. It's now including we need to help the psychics.
Okay.
Like, news got here a few days, like 3 days before you arrived. And now that it's here, there's people changing their Instagram profile to the flag of Lita behind them, or hashtag stand with Lita.
Okay.
That is causing some friction because some people are of the opinion like we need to keep focused on planets that have poverty and also want to be helped, and Lita is not one of those planets. So it is causing internal friction at the highest levels of bureaucracy in system.
This feels so Terra Invicta.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, Crusader Kings 3 is so good.
It is.
I told you you'd like it.
I got
A lot
3
of fun.
updates that I'm going to be dropping over the next few days about world conquest.
I think, I mean, I feel like I have an idea. I feel like I'm a little bit better prepared for this conversation.
Okay.
So I guess during the 24 hours, I'm going to wait for a message back about my disfigurement.
There's no answer to that by the time you land. There is, however, as you scan the spaceport while you're arriving, a car waiting for you. It is a black panel van.
On the way here, real quick, I would say Quentin would have spent that time like responding to the psychics in system, asking about family and like with whatever information he has, and reaching out to them.
Yeah, with 24 hours, I would have sent a message to Sandeep Chopra asking where he's located and where my father is.
Ooh, okay. All right. That we have to do that. You get as soon as you are within range of the planet, instantaneous communication, like literally down to the second. The ship receives a automated message indicating that you are awaiting a live call with the Magister Chopra. It's like, the president's on the phone, answer, and then we're going to go get him, and he'll get on the phone, sort of.
Yeah. Someone called you to play holding music for you.
Yes, exactly.
Where do you want to take this call?
I think I would let... now that I've already got the call, I would let Sophie know what I'm doing. But would then probably take it my quarters.
Okay.
And see if Sophie wants to join too.
She just gives you a no, and she just says quietly, "It sounds like this has something to do with your father, and I have to be honest. I don't know that I want to get involved with that right now. I'm just doing what I have to for my family."
He bites his tongue, implying that father's not part of the family, but he understands and says, "I will do what I can to help father and help family at the same time."
She looks pained as she steps back and lets the door close in her face. You are greeted with a man sitting. He's got the ring on the outside of his hand as he's sitting like this, and he says, "Young man,
Magister,
can I just say you look exactly like your father?"
oh, that's the nicest thing I've heard about how I look in a while.
He waves the hand around that has the ring on it, and he says, "I assume you are calling because you would like access to..." And he says, "Dr. Y'all Vantis, but as far as you know, no one else knows that Y'all is a doctor."
I would like to see my father, but I'd also like to know why he's being held.
I'll tell
I
you
say,
what.
I pause like clearly before held.
He is being kept at the main government security complex here on the planet, near my offices. I understand that my people say that they are tracking your ship landing quite nearby at another government facility. I can have a car sent over to have you brought here, and you can speak with your father directly in just a few hours.
Would I be safe in your car?
Why wouldn't you be safe in my car? You're a citizen of this planet, aren't you?
And so is my father.
Your father is being held for questioning for reasons I can't discuss over an open, unencrypted communication.
Fair enough.
We can have this discussion in person, Mr. Vantis.
Let's do that. You'll see me shortly. Click. He tries. He can only go so far before his shitty nobleness comes through.
Now, we keep the camera on Magister Chopra, and he is looking at himself on a black screen, you know, like it's reflecting, and he says,
Yeah.
I see your fucking face way too often. Is what he says once you've hung the phone up. Okay. You arrive. There are two cars. One is a black panel van, the outside of which has Office of the Prime Minister markings. The other is one with judicial markings and is more like a Lincoln Town car stretch with space for 8 people.
I am going to transfer my phylactery
From the box?
from the box. I'm going to put it in a sledge.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask if the captain would be willing to accompany me to the Prime Minister's office.
I love the juxtaposition of MINERVA, like checking with Quentin, making sure everything was right. Meanwhile, Van-Vee's just like, I gotta go.
Yeah. Do you tell? Yeah. Go ahead.
I think I would just mention I'm gonna go do something for my dad, because he's not all that pleased with how him and Sophie ended things.
Wow.
Quentin holds up his phone.
Now hold on. While the ship is parked here, several things are happening at once. A privacy screen hologram comes up. It's like a fence wall surrounding the ship so that no one can see who's getting on or off. It surrounds the ship and the 2 vehicles that are waiting. However, a third vehicle that looks like a red 99 Honda Civic comes through with a...
No, this is Iono's date.
This is definitely.
I'm just trying to figure out a space-based pun for taxi services. It just says taxi. It says private taxi in black and yellow lettering, and it does an e-brake turn to end up next to the 2 black professional vehicles. And like a guy who looks like the exact same gets out of both vehicles, so like adjusts their tie, takes a look at this fucking clown, and just quietly sits there with a hand over their other hand in front of them.
So,
I plan to leave the sledge on the ship, and I'm going to go in the box with the captain. I don't think the sledge will fit in a car anyways.
Okay, so these are the people that are riding the elevator down right now. Sophie is staying on the ship, as is Dr. Fish. Iono Kanto is in her white doctor's outfit and in a professional suit and slacks. She seems to be very excited to get back down to the planet. She turns to you all and she says, I was going to my graduation ceremony. Do you guys want to come along?
Would love to, but we've got some appointments. What time is it?
Well, I'm just going to go pick up the diploma, because the thing we did, and I sent my information back, and I'm officially I don't have I'm just going to go pick up my diploma, but I thought
I would love to go celebrate with you, though.
Just Banff with her and Banff back.
Look, we can do something as a crew together later. I understand. You all seem like you're very busy, and there's also a giant robot standing next to you, so it seems like we're, we're doing something special here.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that's really, we just got an appointment. I would love to do this. You are important to celebrating, you know.
You can
This
tell
is a
she's
big
a
deal.
little disappointed that you guys aren't coming with her to get her. But she's, the elevator has reached the bottom. She's looking around, and there's a very serious contingent of men in dark suits with dark sunglasses next to black panel vehicles and going, oh, we're doing the above my head level of thing again, huh? Okay.
It sometimes happens, you know.
Okay, I'm just gonna. She's walking backwards.
Oh, Quentin makes a short joke.
Okay, I'm getting in my taxi now.
Don't celebrate too much without me. Tonight we're gonna do it.
Sure. I look forward to it. I'll see you then. Van-Vee, as you move over to your car, you can see that the guy who's been sent here to escort you is wearing the hexagonal ring. And he holds a hand out after opening the back door and says, sir, if you'd like to get in the vehicle, please.
Well, I certainly didn't come here to walk, so yeah, thank you.
Okay. He gets in and he sits across from you because it's kind of big. And you hear that the automatic door locks lock in place. And all of the exterior windows turn black.
Trying to figure out if I would have brought... I don't know if I've been through something like this with the Magister, but like if I would have brought weapons in my armor or if that would just cause problems.
I mean,
I feel like
weapons are legal, armor is not, and weapons are not legal inside government facilities.
Yeah, and I think in this case, I'm not trying to piss people off, so I think I would have left my laser pistol. I think I'd leave the laser pistol and knife probably in this vehicle, like handing them over to this guy, say I won't need these. And I will have already taken off the armor.
Sure. He takes your weapons and just says, I appreciate that. We're going to pat you down later, though. Why don't you buckle in?
Ooh, bumpy ride, huh? All right, just a joke, God. So tense.
Once you get buckled in, he buckles in himself and he just sits back and the car begins moving. Quentin, MINERVA, the two of you get inside the black panel van.
Yeah.
It has been reinforced to allow the weight of robotized workers inside of it. And there is only it's like a minivan that had the back 6 seats pulled out of it. And now there's only passenger and front seat. So Quentin, you're riding shotgun while the box squats in the back. And the driver just says, Prime Minister is waiting for you. Do you have any questions before we get going? Excellent, great. Let's get everybody buckled in here.
What?
I'll transform into a box.
All right.
Buckled.
Ambassador, do you have any contraband, weapons, armor, legal substances before we arrive? You will be searched at our facility, so we'll just be asking to confiscate it here. Okay, all right. Looks like the box is there. Assumably, if we have any emergency maneuvers, you won't be hurt by that. I'm buckling in now. We're getting underway.
Start small talk at some point. Yeah, they've been doing this long. We can skip it, but that's what he's doing.
No, he doesn't answer you at all.
That's fair. Quentin still just keeps asking standard small talk questions. How's the weather been?
Your hillbilly is showing.
We've got a little bit of time here left. I will let you all choose which car we follow.
I'm more excited about Van-Vee.
Yeah.
Van-Vee, you are taken to what is essentially the FBI building. It is not built tall. It is built into the ground. You arrive outside. As you make your way in, you see very occasionally, maybe 1 in 20 people have a hexagon ring. As you get on an elevator and they take you deeper down to the detention level, almost everyone has a hexagon ring down here. The detention level has a emergency barracks for like guards who are fully armed and armored, like SWAT style. You are taken to a detaining, like a room that you would have a conversation with the detective in, and your father is on the other side of the table, and he stands up when you come in, and his chains are attached to the table. The agent just says, "Sit down," and then roughly pushes you into the room and locks the room so that the two of you are in there. And your father goes, "I told you not to come here. What are you doing here?"
How much does everyone know?
Who is everyone? How much do you know? It doesn't
More
matter.
than you think.
Okay. Hold on. I'm getting us out of here.
Wait, what?
So while you do that, we hear the smooth bass rhythms of the live version of Johnny Rivers' Secret Agent Man as your dad snaps out of the chains, rips the door handle off the door, takes the guard, and just judo chops him on the back of his neck, grabs the flashbang off of his belt, tosses it into the emergency barracks room, and grabs someone's sunglasses off of their face as they're running out of the room away from it, puts them on his face,
Oh my God.
and then uses his other hand to slam them into the wall. And he goes, "Come with me if you want to live, kid." As he hits the call button on the elevator.
Hell yeah.
This is all taking place in less than 5 seconds. Your dad, who you knew primarily pushed paper and begged people to listen to him and married up, has just absolutely fucking thunderdomed his way through a federal agent building.
You've been holding out on me. Like, that's the only thing he gets out.
Okay.
You've been holding out on me.
Yeah, he says, "Okay, get in the fucking elevator. What are you doing here?" As the elevator doors close. And that is the end of this episode.
I love it.
There
That's
is
totally
a man
That
who
song is
lives a
in my
life
head
of
now.
danger.
All I'm hearing is Secret Agent Man.
Yes. Perfect.
I love it.
I'm
I feel
sure
even more sad
what-
that I caused us to miss last week now.
I'm sure your father's actions aren't going to cause us heading to the prime minister's office any problems.
Good point.
Hey,
Good
I asked you which group you wanted to follow first.
I mean, we're going off. Even if we did us first, like these things are happening around the same time. So
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
There is a
I
man
cannot
who
wait.
lives a life of danger. All right, sorry, I'm just cleaning up my
Like-
notes.
I feel like in the elevator, he's just kind of like, Mom knows a lot too. like very gently, like,
Oh
say it,
man,
how do I say it?
post-credit scene, your dad turns to look at you like he's gonna
Oh.
fucking murder you. And that is where the black screen starts.
Fucking love that.
Just kind of like, I think I fucked up. But I think I fucked up again, so I'm just gonna come clean and tell you now.
Get it all out there in one go, for sure.
Perfect.
I'm going to need you to fix everything. So let me tell you everything I did.
Okay, so
I need a demoralizer.
You made no attempt to get Carlito an ally. So no
did
crew
not.
XP.
But if we had done the crew goal of putting Van-Vee in front of his father, we would have gotten that.
Van-Vee, you get a point of XP because you didn't just attempt, you made your goal to have a face-to-face with your father in an elevator as he escapes from a federal building.
beautiful.
Minerva, find out about the conversation before you have it. I'll go ahead and give you one for that. Quentin, I'll give you one for Jace Bronwyn. And Van-Vee, I'll give you one for Find Your Mom.
Yeah. Somehow that is still my long-term goal.
And you're going to get 18 XP when you accomplish it, if you
Still
accomplish
got to
it.
get to that Naval Academy
Yeah.
someday.
Someday, somehow. You could
This
have
is-
left there from Rose.
I know.
This is the first time, and I was like,
Only we've known
Lita.
Lita.
You chose to sandbox your way here.
And we split the party. I really thought we were going to split into 3 ways, but that was a good.
It was close.
When one, you come with me.
No, it said we only split in 2 ways.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a tempting thought that MINERVA wasn't going to want to delay, but didn't want to stop you guys from helping Van-Vee's family either. But it didn't seem conducive to do a long-term split. So
yeah, Quentin was going to offer his services to whoever. If MINERVA hadn't asked, you absolutely would have gone with Ian.
Wow, your dad's something else.
Going to be an interesting next episode. I hope you guys have got
Cannot
goals
wait.
you're thinking of.
Yeah.
I think Van-Vee was just put once again into his childless little kid view again.
No, BBC, the big thing for next week is, can we even know what the goals are, given how much things will be shaken up by Van-Vee and his father going on the run? We'll see. How much power does the Octagon contain?
What is the Circle of 8?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere in there's a joke.
I hope not.
I just feel like you're going to bring back 789 somehow.
I'm not. I already did it once, and it was amazing. Because
That's why I think you'll bring it back.
Slow burn. It took people a while, and then they were like, "Wait a second."
789.
Listen, there are people out there who don't get on Discord but watch the show and don't know that a huge number of plot points are nothing but references to sea shanties and space shanties. An enormous number of plot points and names for this season came from the playlist I sent for prep.
That's so funny.
Oh yeah.
Yes. You'll never know unless you get on Discord just how much I've fucked with your brain. How much I'm seeding incredibly obscure references to ancient musical traditions. Well, how did we feel about this episode, our first time back this month?
It was a lot of fun.
It was less bad for Van-Vee than I thought it would be.
Really, you are currently locked in an elevator with your father, fleeing federal detention while inside a building full of federal officers. Your ship is on
I want to watch.
Your ship is on a government landing pad.
But
Yeah,
at least
this is
I
good.
know he has my well-being at heart.
Oh, well, I mean, I suppose that's true.
Yeah.
It could be. I could have
That's a good way
pissed
to
him
look
off
at
so
it.
bad he wanted to rip my. Oh, he does kind of want to rip my head off, but he would actually rip my head off.
And clearly is capable of it.
Yeah, I feel
He's
like
a man
the
who's lived a life of danger.
most powerful man in the room is on my side. We're doing okay.
Yeah, he's also going to be the most troublesome person to be around.
I feel like we always knew that about Van-Vee's family or
That's
Van-Vee.
true.
So
There was a landmine.
I feel like I thought when we first found out that you were Dust and the whole "you look like your dad" thing, I figured that you were going to try to have some sort of heart-to-heart, or maybe he got found out and arrested, and we were going to have to try to stop you from getting arrested. You know, some talking solution, not
Nope.
rock starring his way out of the building.
So, anyways, I started blasting.
It escalated.
Yeah, that escalated real hard. I have no idea how we're going to deal with this.
He told you
Yeah.
repeatedly, do not come to Midapile.
He did.
I've had a lot of mixed messages.
That's like saying, "Come to Midapile. Come on, you know you want.
Don't push the red button.
Look, you know what you're doing to this group of
Telling
people.
Van-Vee
You know
not
what
to
you're
do
doing."
something.
You're right. I'd rather split the
Baited
party
the
and have
trap.
those two go, and I'll just hang out with Jace.
I'm gonna have a bloopers reel that's just a really subdued and sad Dr. Iono Kanto getting her degree.
By yourself.
Oh.
Everyone has graduated months ago without her. Her only friends on planet refuse to come with her. She's on her phone trying to contact.
That's not fair.
Her
She pulled the like,
sometimes
it's my birthday and I'm
boyfriend.
not telling anyone move. Like,
I'm thinking of Despicable Me, where the girls do the ballet and the chairs are empty
No,
brutal.
because no one came to watch.
Brutal.
she's just this is going to be the biggest day of her life, and instead, she is picking up a white leather diploma from a bursar's office somewhere.
She should have taken Fish with her. But yeah, we should have recommended Fish go with her.
Fish is kind of busy right now.
Should have sent Louis with her. That would have been a real key.
Yeah.
We've seen him so much less this season.
It's true so far.
Maybe that's why everything's going fucking crazy.
Yeah. I mean, well, it's just, there's just so much to deal with, so much to unpack. Where as always, there's just a lot of density. So it just feels like
There's so much to
some
do.
certain side scenes become like, I'd waste time if I bring
quick
that
40-minute
up. Yeah, exactly. Right. Like,
So much to see.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
stop. Don't do it. I'm bad with this man.
Okay, I'll let it lie then.
That's
It was right there.
It's bugging me. I can hear the rest of it in the back of my head.
The damage is done. It doesn't matter now.
If you haven't heard that song in the minor key, you really should Google it because it's incredible. It goes from being a happy, upbeat song to being like a super depressed emo anthem.
I don't know if I want to listen to that.
Minor key.
Yes, and if you're listening to things in the minor key, the Friends theme song in a minor key is also incredible. It turns into a rock ballad.
Oh, that I might do.
Are we good for next week?
Yes.
Leave some.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose we'll fuck around and find out. Well, the fucking
yeah.
around really already happened for all of you. You are solidly
This
all
is
in
the find out season.
phase. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the find out season for sure.
We have no idea what's going on in that building. I feel like we're gonna walk into the building the prime minister's office is in and just like immediately get detained for reasons that we have no understanding of.
I feel like you're going to walk into the prime minister's building, an alarm's going to go off, and Quentin's going to go, Van-Vee, and just bam.
That's true. Quentin can abandon you at any time, Minerva.
I mean, I suppose for argument's sake, I'm not in the box.
That's exactly it. He also, this is a good point, that he knows that actually the real Minerva is in a spot on the ship that he could go unplug theoretically, right? So
That's the last place you've seen real Minerva.
exactly. He does not know it's in the sledge.
Oh, goodness. I'm really curious what like y'all's next step was. All right, we broke out of the government building. Now what?
He's got to have a plan, right?
I
This
mean,
is a man
he's
with
got
a plan.
something up. So
Why
this is a
would
man
he
with a plan.
assume that the son he hasn't seen in years, who just showed up out of nowhere, and said he never wanted to see him again, and then left, and he sent a message saying, "Don't come back here." Why would he assume he would ever see his son? He's
Because
not
his son doesn't
acting-
do what he's told. So
Okay.
by saying,
I want to assure you, out of character as a game master, y'all has no plan right now. He is acting entirely on sudden, immediate impulse to escape this detention facility with his son as soon as possible.
I did not see any. Yeah,
He was fine when it was just him.
you're going to be on the run in the capital of Midpile.
I can't wait
with the Hulk.
for Van-Vee to try to spin this into a, see, I broke you out because you would have still been in there if I didn't show up. Because I showed up, you got angry, and now you're out.
God. I
His
feel
answer
like you
is,
might get punched in the face for that.
I wanted
Punched
to
in
be
the
there.
face. And then Sophie's gonna come from the other side and be like, "You did what?"
Boy, you're gonna have a really
she's
fucked up
distancing
family
real
meeting.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the like. broadcast all over the planet on the news is like a shot of a car you two have stolen driving away. Like, hey, this is the current police
The
chase.
helicopter shot. Yeah.
Here's a mug shot of the two suspects.
So two of them
and she's-
going over a cliff.
And
When
then-
No,
Louise-
this is probably going to be a
Sophie
big
immediately
problem.
writing a press release of I to total
Disavow all
disavow.
knowledge and-
Yeah.
This is probably really going to create problems for Golden Goose LLC.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's got a real lack of those right now.
Somewhere Carlito's going. I like this cut of his jib.
We might need him soon.
What I really love is that you sent you pre-made a message telling Carlito you wanted to talk to him, and then immediately went the other direction.
This is what happens.
I cannot wait to see what his reaction is to. We get a message. It says, "Hey, we want to meet with you," and then you
We want a
immediately
party.
fuck off. You guys sent that message a while ago, like
Yeah.
2 months out of character and like several weeks in character. You wrote it on Lita, and it was in the message buffer, and you sent it when you arrived in system in Chase Bronwyn's Astapel.
Astapel.
So he was waiting
Yeah.
for you to show up on station. He even had
Yeah,
station
it's been like 8
security
days, right?
pre-cleared.
At least. That's fair.
And you
That's fair.
immediately were like, no message to him, immediately ignored, went down to the planet,
Should have sent a message.
should have sent a message.
It's the least we could do. Maybe we
And
do
I-
that when we get
and
there.
after all
Literal
of
minimum
that-
level.
And after all of that, if you guys manage to get into hiding somewhere in the capital, he's really kind of the only person you can call. Can you smuggle me off world?
Oh, I understand now. We went from Secret Agent Man to now we're A team. You have to get Carlito Sinistra to A team. There's only one person you can call. Ba-ba-da-ba. Ba-ba-ba.
Beautiful.
I need
He
a ship.
doesn't just smuggle drugs, he smuggles heroes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, now the only other thing we got to do with your dad is have him walk around with a box full of roses.
Oh goodness.
You meet
Oh,
Sandeep Chopra, and he's just got a little hairless cat. He's better. That's right, Mr. Vantis.
Right where I want you.
I love how your camera zoomed out while you did.
For real,
It
though?
definitely
We're-
understood drama.
We're pretty fucked. We really are.
You all are finding the consequences of your actions. Baldur's Gates fans know what that's about. Yeah.
Chips gotta fall, you know.
Unless you're the the good lawful paladin. Nothing ever goes against you.
I know almost nothing about that game, and people have been trying to spoil me on it so bad. I am watching the narrator's outtakes, and they are so funny. The dungeon master for that game recorded outtakes to her YouTube channel, and some people have taken to animating them as well. It's just so good.
Oh man, that sounds good.
Oh,
I'll have to check that out.
come on, need a little Vantis? Oh my god, what a great song that would be.
Oh boy.
It's the opening theme for the James Bond movie about this crew.
Yeah.
Is just need a little Vantis. Oh god.
And it starts with the chase on the moon.
Ah.
Oh Jesus.
I have to say, my favorite James Bond theme is actually the Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater theme. I know it's not technically a James Bond theme, but they made it sound like one, so.
It's fair.
Oh,
And then
man.
it's GoldenEye. GoldenEye's number 2.
Well, yeah, classic.
And Snake Eater brings back some memories.
Of spending 6 minutes climbing in a straight line.
That's a
I remember
fun moment.
I went to go visit a friend who went to college. So I went to stay in her dorm room and hang out. She had a full course load, so I didn't get to see her most of the time anyways. She had her PlayStation in there, and the only game she owned was Snake Eater, and I hadn't played it yet. So I played the whole thing in 3 days, and I remember the river, the dream sequence River of Souls.
Yeah.
I killed everybody. I found out you could, in fact, lose that level.
Wow.
It was,
You're a monster.
Yeah.
Now you know why I said don't play Crusader Kings 3 with him unless he's on your side.
It was unexpected for sure. I'd gotten so used to playing Rainbow Six and meticulously killing everybody on the map so I could freely move around. I did that in Snake Eater.
Most of Snake Eater, that's not a bad plan. But what if you only knocked everybody out?
Yeah.
An option.
That's the real Snake Eater that we made.
My favorite part in Snake Eater is the sniper fight, right? Where you can just wait.
End,
You can just lay there and wait.
Just wait.
you could change the date on your PlayStation and he'll die of old age.
Yeah.
Nope, I did everything the hard way. I chased his ass all over the place.
I mean, my favorite fight is the final boss fight because the whole game was like camouflage is important. And that fight, both sides are being camouflaged by like the white flower field, and it really fucks with your ability to understand what's going on. I thought that was a great way to round out the end of a relationship.
It was a well put together game.
That was a really cool fight.
Killing your own mother.
Yeah.
Wow. How now this show really makes me think Van-Vee is going to have to do something pretty similar soon.
It's all about family.
Yeah. Killing Sophie Vostra.
Hey, if I take him out, no one else can.
Wow, that's
I
didn't understand. I was talking to the male lead of a possessive Korean love story.
Oh, geez.
Jesus.
I'm just playing into it.
That's fair.
We'll see how far Van-Vee's gonna go.
Luckily, Vandorn's in there too. Vandorn's just been pushed aside for a couple episodes.
You forgot that the two of you have been merged together. Yeah,
well, I mean, his part of the merger has been pushed aside for a couple episodes. It'll come back.
Did you push yourself aside? Maybe you should have a conversation with MINERVA about your personality.
I have a question for you. Is it just that he showed up one time when you were in conflict with yourself, and then you haven't heard from him since then because the two of you are one now?
There's only one way to find out.
There
I
is
need to
only
pick up
one
an
way.
axe.
That's your go-to?
Damn.
That was the only time he's come up before.
Oh my god! I mean, okay,
I love it. Poor Van-Vee.
I told you there's
what is
going to be
that?
some dad stuff. All right. We
What was
didn't
the
even
one
get to the
time?
dad stuff. We took so long.
Not
we
really,
didn't-
no.
Yeah. We didn't even get a foot in the door. We knocked on the door.
That's next episode. That's all next episode.
I did have a suspicion when we were doing our goals, and we're like, yeah, we've got goals on Metapile, and you were like, I want to have a meeting with Chase Bronwyn, and I was like, that's going to be the session.
Yeah, I was like,
the question is, do we leave Astabel or not?
Yeah.
I feel like that went pretty quick.
It took 38 minutes.
38. No, if that's including intro.
That was with intros, yes.
I would just, we'll set out to do something simple and then talk ourselves into a hole that takes the rest of the session to get out of.
I mean, if I tried to do everything I have written down, it's like, it's the whole episode, right? Like, it's.
I mean, that's what like Solaris Knights became. We wanted quick, fast battles. And next thing you know, we have 2-hour episodes, but the battle was the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
My favorite
help
part
ourselves.
was, I was like, all right, this is the finals. There is no role playing involved at all. Glimo immediately goes, I want to talk to this person. I'm like, no, you can't. No role playing. All storylines are finished. Baron did the exact same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, storylines are over. We're done.
Yeah,
Find
about
each other.
that. I just want to find my guy.
But can I murder someone?
There's never been such a weird head fuckery as I'm about to spoil Solaris Knights hugely for the audience. So if you haven't seen it yet, stop listening. The second mercenary mission where all of you turned on each other mid-mission and started GMing yourselves. And I was just like, what the fuck is happening right now? This team came together, and now it is a 3-way battle between the players. This game doesn't even support 3 sides. It's a 2-side game.
That was wild. I really enjoyed just laying there and getting shot repeatedly in the first one and somehow miraculously not dying.
Even waking up the punishment you asked.
Yeah. There became a point where AP was so determined
and then
just to destroy you in the king crab that he ignored all other objectives.
The tanks were.
Yeah. That was so funny.
And then
luckily,
the landmines.
I made him feel good by forgetting about the landmines, running right up to one and blowing my leg off.
Little neck.
I warned you about those landmines. I feel like I really solidly warned you about them.
You did, and then I know someone else scanned them, but luckily, my forgetfulness also happened to work with that. Whoever scanned them never communicated it back out.
That was a wild. Like, I can do this. It's fine.
That was a wild fall apart, and everybody starts shooting each other, though.
And Cosmo didn't know how to use clan tech with all the advanced scanners.
All right, friends.
Worst part was I set it to self-destruct because it was clan tech, and we didn't want whoever we were raiding to know.
The Rasselhungians.
And that was the first episode.
Military rebels, I believe.
That was the first episode I used that mech too. It was just gifted to me. I could go step on a mine, blow off a leg, and then self-destruct.
It's okay. You had like 20 more mechs.
This is true. That's true.
I don't know. I got to do something like that again. People really got involved in designing mechs for you guys. And how do I put this? Papa-ing their favorite players, which for sure was definitely Cosmo for real. People, he had like a stable of 4 daddies doing just.
That's true. They're like those light mech fans,
oh,
you know.
Oh, what's up, little bud? You need a new mech? Here's 2 new mechs.
I did.
Oh, it's a new month. We just unlocked some more tech here. It's all for you.
I was super stressed out until it was over, but after the fact, I did really enjoy the whole scrap dragon thing.
Oh yeah.
No
repairs. Do 3 matches with no repairs.
Yeah, you had a tough audience member backing you.
Yes, you did.
Very demanding.
The audience are psychopaths for sure. Sorry,
yeah.
audience.
I appreciate
lovable psychopaths. You know,
what was the LRMs that were landmines, and then the charging build. I was like, all right, I guess I'll just have a medium laser, and that's it. Everything else is just running full speed through the opponent.
It's a fun one.
The Raven that was rebuilt to just be a targeting system and a Gauss rifle.
Oh my goodness. That was probably my scariest match. I had to take cover until I was close.
Any one shot could have ended it for you, for sure. Yeah.
I would have thought it was the dude who was hitting you with the flame sprayers.
That was my most.
That was a crazy fight.
I don't even know how to describe that.
He should not have
so
won.
Fun. So fun. There were a number of fights. Yeah, it was just like it was fun to watch the comedy of errors in some of them. Where it's just
I'm pretty sure Gleemo lost in a assault mech versus a medium hovercraft. In a one-on-one because it got behind him and he couldn't roll for shit and it just continuously criticaled him.
Gleemo's matches were only really hard one way or the other. He either rolled in and was like, okay, we're done, or he suffered some catastrophically horrific luck. There was nothing pitched about any of his battles.
Very true. I think my favorite was probably how early on we established what could have been friends in Minksta, and there were 6 of them, and it took so long to reveal all 6.
That's true.
It's almost like I continuously bait you about the royal princess who you still have yet to see or ever meet.
Well, there's only one of them.
I'm trying.
Is there?
Oh,
Haven't there
she's
been
a clone too?
multiple Jace Bronwyns as well?
That's fair. Van-Vee's a clone. Who isn't a clone on Midifile?
How come my dad's a clone with super strength and
Because he's hundreds of years old.
I gotta figure out the secrets.
Yeah,
Now,
he's like
imagine
level
your
50.
character. Yeah, I was gonna say, imagine your character, but you've played in like 60 seasons
What
of
if
the
you
show.
had like a plus? What if you had a +4 to everything, all stats and all skills?
All right.
Imagine how good you'd be at doing things.
All right. I'd say yes, please.
Wow, great.
Sounds great.
All you got to do is continuously transfer yourself to a new clone body.
Okay. That might be difficult, but okay.
I'm also
We'll get
really
working on
looking forward to maybe hearing back from Fairy.
Oh, sure.
You're heading the wrong direction.
Yeah,
Yeah. We will turn around someday.
because it would be
Will
nice
you?
to open up. I don't know. The question is, are we ever going to?
We're going to Thor after this.
You're going to Thorin. See, because
I gotta go race.
all of my notes on everything on the way to Thorin, I was like, they're never going down here at all. We could throw out the Pope storyline. We're done.
I was trying to think of what is the
No blast ball, no hyperbolt racing. We don't need to do that.
what is
Thor's
the
dead.
least like safety feature that Van-Vee could add to show his mom he took her somewhat seriously? And I was like, what
Seatbelt.
if he just like put the
Seatbelt.
seatbelt that only goes across the waist, not even like the
Just a lap belt.
Like-
No,
just the
I got
lap
it.
belt.
It's the thing on jet skis that goes around your wrist with the key so that if you fall
Yes.
out, it pulls the key out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Good. So I saw one of these on a treadmill. Apparently, like if you fall, it turns off. That's safe, right?
I saw it on a treadmill. That's really good.
Oh man.
It would be nice to be able to walk around as a person again. It really has
Fair.
really.
No, Van-Vee had a
You murdering my body has been really inconvenient.
yeah. No, Dynamis brought up a good point, which is I should have asked Jace Bronwyn for a new body in exchange for meeting a shadow or get on the list at least for you. You know,
Wow,
You
you
see,
really
I-
fucked that up.
big time.
I really want to know what the 5 questions he asked in order to get
Yeah.
a what was it, spleen and
so do I.
kidneys taken?
No, 2 kidneys in his liver.
Kidneys and liver. Jesus.
I really
He went big. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or he just had an asshole spirit.
I mean, how often are you going to be standing in his office letting him ask a cosmic being random questions? Why would he not go hard?
It's a big opportunity.
What a good episode.
I'm going to say this. I know that Glimo does not watch the show, but next week we are going to meet a character named Pascal Jaden, almost certainly,
Oh, that's fun.
which is the name of his cyberpunk character that my character threw off a roof. He asked too many questions.
So
I've actually thrown Glimo's characters off a roof twice now, so
if we're on a
Yeah,
roof
nickel.
talking to this guy, the temptation is there.
The scene's just going to be you and your dad like run up to the top of a building.
it's
trying
thunderstorm
to escape.
at night, heavy bass music playing, 2 swords flashing in the darkness as you fight samurai style. We're going full cyberpunk for this, and one person gets thrown off a roof.
And then Quentin's just going to make an invisible barrier that slowly pushes him towards the edge.
Yeah, there you go. Say uncle.
I'm not your uncle, I'm your father. All right. I want to close up this episode by saying that this episode is not Maclay 8 approved. There was no attempt at
that's fair.
salvaging a ship. We're real
Someday.
sorry.
No.
It's probably It's probably not going to happen again until the end of the season. I'd say.
We changed the name of the show to like
But if
System
it's any
Breakers.
concession, next session we will be trying to salvage our ability to continue to play the season.
See, yes, so
So
true.
salvage will
Metaphorically,
occur.
a lot of salvage actually happens.
We
Mostly
will be
anytime I open my mouth,
spiritually salvaging.
must immediately salvage the situation.
I was doing the breaking, not the salvaging.
Yeah.
I am afraid that this group has forgotten a very key piece of information, beyond forgetting that they told Carlito they were going to meet with him as soon as they came in system. There's another key piece of information about the world that they have forgotten that is going to slap them in the face very hard at the start of the next episode.
Oh no. Okay.
Excellent.
Well, I walk away feeling ominous vibes.
Looking at my nose.
I want you to wait the whole week knowing that you have lost a crucial piece of information and something is going to happen that you will not like.
Good.
Perfect. I just want to thank Dr. Iono Kanto for her support this episode. And hey, we'll see you next week, guys. Have a good night.